Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this ASUS GA503R. Alright, the full model is GA503RW-G15.R93070T. Alright, R93070T. Anyways, we're going to be using a PH1 or JIS1 screwdriver to remove all the screws from the bottom. Let's go ahead and do that. You want to keep all the screws in order because they are different size, shape, and lengths. The way I do that is I put them flat side down like that on my desk in the pattern I remove them. I do this for every single computer I take apart because I like to put the same screws back where I got them. Even if they are the same length or same size, I prefer to put the same screw back where I got it instead of swapping them all over the place. Because you never know, sometimes one might be slightly thinner, taller, or whatever, and you can actually damage your computer that way. So it's a good idea to keep the screws in order wherever you can. I have a feeling this laptop was taken apart before because normally I would think there would be rubber, like little rubber feet covering these. Okay, so in this case I don't see any of those rubber feet, so I think the customer took this apart before. So far those two screws are shorter than the others. Most likely this one will be as well. I think these were the ones that would have had the rubber things over it. Okay, I think the outer perimeter screws look to be about the same size, so if you do somehow manage to mix them up or you took it apart before hearing this, then hopefully that'll help you get it back together properly. Alright, looks like the screws towards the front that open up are also shorter, so they're even shorter than the ones in the middle. So again, try and keep all your screws in order because they are different size, shape, and lengths. Alright. So we're taking this apart because the screen is damaged. So we got a replacement screen and we're going to be swapping that out. Okay, there we go. There's the last screw. I think this screw is supposed to actually stay in place because the edge of it is smooth. So it's kind of strange. It just popped out. I have a feeling the customer took this apart before and lost the little washer. There's supposed to be a little washer that holds it onto here usually, and keeps it in place. Okay, now it's actually doing what I was expecting, where it kind of stays in place, but normally it would also pop this piece out. Alright, since it didn't do it, we're gonna have to do this. We're gonna open it up. I'm gonna get my fingernails in the gap here and use my thumb along the palm rest and push. You can see it popped it out just like that. Make sure you're not pushing on the touchpad, just the palm rest area. Okay, then we're gonna run my fingernail. We'll run my fingernail along there. You can use plastic pry tools, obviously, or whatever you got. Alright, so I'm going to keep pulling on this cover slightly, and then I'm just sliding my fingernail along the edges to pop the clips up. Okay, and looks like it's coming out pretty easily. Again, I don't know if the customer worked on this before because it is coming out pretty easily. Oh, here's actually the plastic washers right there, so I don't know how it just came out on its own. But yeah, normally that washer would stay attached to the screw. Okay, so I'll screw that on all the way. So normally this little washer here, it stays up towards the smooth portion of this screw, and then the threads just hold that in place so that the screw doesn't fall out, and it helps push this bottom cover up. Alright, anyways, next thing we're going to do, we're going to disconnect the battery. Let me actually get a thumbnail here, so I'm going to center this. Okay, since we're not doing a complete disassembly and we're just doing a screen replacement, I'm not going to be pulling all the components out, but I'll just show you guys somewhat of a close-up of what I see in here. Alright, so we're going to zoom in first, and we're going to disconnect the battery. So the battery connector's here. You have to slide this little silver piece up. Once you do that, then you can go ahead and pull this connector out just like that. Okay, once you've pulled that out, we're going to carefully open up the screen. Alright, you want to be extra careful because you have less screws holding the hinges in place because the bottom cover also had some hinge screws. So we're going to carefully open it up. Alright, just hold this and open. Alright, and then we're going to press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds to drain any residual power. Alright, this makes it a lot safer to work on. If you're going to be replacing the screen or moving any of the screen connections, it's very important that you do this. If you get to those screen connections too quick before the power can kind of drain, I've seen people like fry their backlight circuit, they'll fry the screen, melt the cables, things like that. So yeah, you don't want to just rush into that. Okay, so we're gonna just take a quick look. you got this little connector here. It says PW, so most likely this is for the power button. There's a little black flip latch that you flip up and then you can pull that cable out. If you're not sure how to do that, you can watch a few of my other videos. I have a lot of videos taking apart computers, and the connections are very similar. So once you watch a few of them, you should be able to figure it out. All right, this is the LCD LVDS connector. Same thing. There's a flip latch here, but it's on the inside part. Okay, sometimes the flip latch will be on the inside, sometimes it'll be on the back outside. All right, you got one fan connector here, which you would usually I would use some needle nose pliers, grab the little portion of this connector. All right, there's the connector on the board, and then this part that gets pushed into it, I would grab that and kind of just wiggle it side to side to pop it out. All right, obviously the other fan connector, you got the wireless card here. The antennas are underneath this black adhesive. Okay, it looks like there's a separate M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD slot here, and then they're already using this one here with a thermal pad. Right, there's one screw. Once you remove the screw, you can lift it up slightly and then pull it back. You got the speaker connection here, all right, and this connects from this speaker with the wire all the way to the other speaker over here. Okay, you got all these other connections. I'm not going to go over all of them because, again, I'm not going to pull this out, but this looks like the keyboard connector. This is likely the touchpad connector, keyboard backlight connector. Then you got another thin cable here, which is going to this little piece, which is, I forgot what they call that, but I think it's the sensor that when you open and close the screen, it detects that it's being opened and closed. All right, also there's a little, it says KB debug here, so this is probably for some kind of debug connection. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all there is to look at in here. Pretty sure there's an M.2 PCIe NVMe. There's one stick of RAM. We'll pull the tabs to the side, it pops up, and then we can pull that out. And sadly, you can see there's tape here, and I don't see, oh, actually, there's the label here. I don't know if I can see the label because they taped this thing on top. I can try and peel it slowly, but yeah, I don't know. I don't see the type of RAM on here. There's a part number. MTC4C10163 S1SC48BA1. Yeah, this label doesn't want to come off too easily. So yeah, I don't want to mess with this and then end up damaging the stick of RAM. But this does look like DDR5 RAM. Right, so here is a PC4 stick of RAM, and you can see the pins don't line up. Okay, so yeah, for people wondering, you can't use PC4 RAM in a PC5 or DDR5 laptop. So you can see DDR4, the notch is a little bit further. So when they change the type, so DDR1, like the notch is here, DDR2 it moves over, DDR3, and then DDR4, and you can see it just keeps moving over. All right, anyways, we'll put this stick of RAM back in there, and then let's go ahead and get to removing the screen. Okay, so the main thing I wanted to do to get in here was to disconnect the battery and then hold the power button down to drain any residual power, because if you don't do that, you can actually damage the screen, backlight circuit, and other components. If you're wondering, the battery model number is right here, and it's C41N2013. All right, let me zoom in actually. C41N2013. Okay, that's the battery model number. Okay, zoom out. All right, now let's go ahead and remove the screen. So I've actually removed this once already. I didn't actually take the whole screen out, but I did pull it forward so I could check the model number. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get underneath here. I just used my fingernails, and we're gonna basically pull up on the center, and we're gonna rotate and push the outer edge down and in towards the center of the laptop. This will undo the clips, okay, you can see here. And you do want to be careful. This does have a bunch of adhesive around the back. So the first time I did this, it took a lot longer. You have to kind of constantly just pull very slowly. You'll feel the adhesive releasing, and then you can kind of remove clips and stuff. This is a little bit risky if you've never done this before, because it kind of takes a little bit of practice to get a feel for the clips and how it kind of holds in. Otherwise, you're going to probably end up breaking those clips. It's not too big of a deal. You can use more double stick adhesive to get it back together, but yeah, just know that you're probably going to end up breaking clips if this is the first time you've ever done this before. Okay, in this case, I'm kind of like twisting it the opposite, so the inside is going down, and then the outside is going up and in towards the center. Okay, and yeah. All right, it shouldn't take a lot of force, but again, there's the adhesive there, so you kind of have to work with it to get that adhesive out. All right, it does take some patience. You don't want to just try and rip it up. So we're going to do the same thing on this side. Okay, sorry, no, my arm's getting in the way. There we go. Continue kind of working this one out. Just like that. All right, so we got the sides out. Now we got to do the bottom. All right, there's a lot of clips and adhesive here as well. So we're going to carefully pull this forward. Okay, and I got to kind of like pull up and push down to get the clips to unlatch. So the screen has its own, you can see that black adhesive layer. If that's pulling forward, you might have to use something thin to help push that against the screen to keep that over there. And we're just going to continue kind of working on this pulling and pushing. Okay, so we'll try and do the top first. You can hear all the clips unclicking. Okay, and then we'll pull on this. Okay, and this can be a little tricky. You can see this side already came out, but this one's stuck. So I might have to, let's see if I slide my fingernail in there. No, not really. Come on, push and pull it. And, there we go. All right, so there is the bezel. Okay, that's the front bezel. We'll set that aside. To get this screen out, you want to tip the screen all the way back. This thing actually goes almost completely, actually it goes further than 180 degrees. Okay, so what we're doing is we're going to open this as much as possible. And then you have these stretch release adhesive strips. So these, you got to get underneath them. Okay, and once you do that, we're going to try and pull this straight back. We can't pull it completely straight back because this is raised higher, so it gets in the way. So what you do is you kind of pull it up slightly and then use your finger to push down and pull back. And that will allow it to pull the thing out. And you just keep pulling this further and further, all right, to stretch it and continue applying pressure to release this adhesive. Once you get kind of stretched really far, you can kind of grab it with your other hand, move this closer, grab that, slowly release the tension, go closer here. Now we have all this excess slack. Then you can go ahead and continue the process, pulling again and doing that. All right. So you'll just repeat this until you get this entire stretch release adhesive out. And you do want to be careful because eventually it's gonna, when it gets to the end, it's gonna snap out and fly forward. So you want to try and make sure to catch it before that happens. So that way it doesn't fly out and stick to itself. Usually if the replacement screen comes with replacement adhesive, then you don't need to worry about it sticking to itself. But you want to try and save it if you're going to reuse it. Then you can have the entire stretch release adhesive like that. So I just stick it on a place hanging next to me. You can stick it on like the edge of your desk. Just make sure again that you don't accidentally knock it and then stick it on everything. All right, so we're going to do the same thing over here. Continue pulling this adhesive out. Okay, just like this. Continue pulling, just like that. And we'll just keep going. All right, again, release, grab closer, and continue. All right, again, and it should be almost out. If you want, you can kind of pinch and grab when you get towards the end so it doesn't fling out. And there we go. All right, so now we got all of that out. We're gonna have to flip the screen forward. So we're gonna carefully lift that back up. All right, and I'm gonna tip the screen forward. You can kind of wiggle it a little bit, or however you can get in the edge, the sides here. And we're just gonna pull the screen forward just like this and tip it down like that. All right, so you can actually see the screen model number here. I'll show you that once I get this out. So there's this adhesive. We're gonna have to get this up, okay? And it helps to use like a plastic razor blade here to help get this up. So I just use the plastic razor blade to kind of cut underneath the adhesive. All right, at least to start it. And then we can go ahead and try and grab this and work our way to peel it up, okay? Usually to do this, I kind of like rotate and twist the adhesive like this, okay? Instead of just pulling straight up, you kind of rotate and twist it. All right. Is that peeling the... Oh, the foil here is tearing. So let's try and go from the other side and see if we can prevent that from completely tearing off. So that way it's not stuck on the adhesive. All right, so we got that peeled up again, and we're gonna now go ahead and do this again. Try and keep the foil down. All right, I think we got most of it. Okay, a little piece of the foil came out, but that's okay. And then, now that we've peeled that all up, okay, this one doesn't have a metal latch. Let me actually zoom in here. Okay, nope. Okay, oh, it just came out. Normally I would grab here and then pull that back to get this out. Anyways, now that we got all of that, here is the screen model number, N156KME-GNA-C2. So that's the model number. All right, and then this is a matte screen. Let's go ahead now and get the replacement screen, swap it out, and hopefully we'll be good to go. All right. So we got the replacement screen here. Let's go ahead and tear this open. Okay, shipped it in this big box here. All right, so we'll open this up. Let's see what we got. Okay, they did cover the screen model number, so that makes me think it's not like the exact model number that they wrote on the listing. A lot of times they like to do that, and then they'll just say it's a compatible model. The one thing with that is sometimes the connectors don't line up right, so hopefully it's okay, because otherwise we're going to have to order another screen, and then we're going to have to wait again. So there we go. I'll take that. Here's the screen. Okay. Right, usually they'll put like, wrap this onto like a cardboard piece. Let's see, is it matte? We're gonna peel this up. Yes, it's a matte screen. Okay, so leave that. You can see they covered this, but the model is N156KME-GNA-C2. I don't know why they covered it. That's correct, actually. I think because they were selling it as revision C1, so maybe they wanted to sell it for use for both models, right? This is the same, you can see, has the same thing, right? N156KME-GNA revision C2. Yeah, it's also Inolux. The print on this does seem a little bit bigger, so I don't know if that's gonna, it should be the same unless they put a fake sticker there, but according to that, the model, everything looks the same. One thing I'm worried is I noticed there's this kind of wave bendy looking area here, so I'm a little bit worried. I hope it's not cracked or anything. Okay, we'll see. Let's go ahead and plug this in. So to get this, we just line it back up. Let me zoom in here. It'll usually help to kind of angle it a little bit like this, because that's where the slack is kind of going at an angle, right? So we'll just line this up. There isn't much slack on this specific laptop, so we gotta kind of just get it in. All right, it's gonna be a little bit tricky. Okay, and pull that in. Okay, so it did click in, looks good. All right, and then we'll just stick this adhesive part back down. And now temporarily, I'm gonna flip this screen back up, okay? Because we do wanna test it, make sure everything is good. So flip it back up, then we're gonna flip the whole screen this way. All right, let's go ahead and get the cable reconnected. So line that back up for the battery. Make sure you have it lined up right. You don't want to try and push it in crooked. You'll know because the little squares on the side line up. And then we can slide that connector back on. Make sure you push that down all the way and then slide that metal tab back into place. All right, let's see if it will power on, or do we need to plug it in to power it on? Okay, I see the keyboard lighting up. So we should be good as long as the screen is not damaged. Let's see. Nothing's coming on the screen. That has me a bit worried. Come on. Sometimes it's the CMOS BIOS RTC real-time clock battery is actually built into the main battery. So it might be resetting the BIOS, and that's my guess as to why it's taking so long. So hopefully it's gonna come on in a bit. We just gotta be patient, give it some time. The keyboard lights are still red. Caps lock light isn't coming on, so most likely it's still starting up. One other thing it could be is because we did take the RAM out and put it back, could be the RAM, maybe it got some debris on it. We might have to just pop it out and push it back in, but it did turn itself off and turn it back on, so that's a sign of the CMOS being reset or the BIOS being reset. So hopefully it'll come up in a few seconds here. It might have to restart a second or third time. Let's see. The keyboard is lit up again. I hear the fan starting to spin up again. Okay, so we didn't put the adhesive back yet, so yeah, I did that because if this screen is having issues, then we're gonna be able to take it back out and then redo the whole process with another screen. Oh, there we go. So here you go, Republic of Gamers. Looks good, it's starting up. I'm gonna move this out of the way in case it shows the username, because some customers don't like people to see that. So, and the screen, the entire screen looks good, so we should be good to go. I'm just gonna shut it down now. Actually, one thing you wanna do is you actually, I don't know if you can even see that because of the brightness and the reflections. Let's see, can I brighten this? Okay. So one thing I recommend doing, highly recommend doing when replacing the screen is to restart the computer one time, not just shut down and start up. You want to do a restart. And that's because a lot of the times the computer doesn't detect the new screen properly. In this case, the screen is the exact same model, so most likely that was unnecessary, but might as well do it anyways. Okay. It's not going for some reason. Oh, there we go. It's just taking its time. All right, so it is restarting. One thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna replace the bottom cover first, so that way I don't have to worry about it. Okay. We'll wait for this to power back up real quick. I just want to make sure. Come on. I don't know if I had a customer calling me, but yeah. All right, so I did a restart. It's still taking its time. Come on. Caps lock light's not working, so it must be doing a reboot. There we go. All right, so I'm going to close this. There's no spinning hard drive in here, so I'm actually going to just go ahead and pop the bottom cover on while it's still on. It's okay. Okay, so we'll line this back up and we'll pop the bottom cover back on. It's relatively simple to replace this one. All right, so we'll get this and we'll just snap it all back into place. All right, we'll get this last screw here. Tighten that in, so that will snap itself all back down. All right, and let's go ahead and get the rest of the screws in. Then we'll go ahead and reapply the adhesive for the screen and the bezel. All right, again, hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. All right, if you can't help out that way, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on them as well. If you really appreciate what I do, if you could continue watching my videos, whether they're for your computer or not, because that's, I don't know, that's just how the algorithm works. It wants people to kind of see that they're interested in watching all your content. But I guess if you're not interested in watching my content other than fixing your stuff, yeah, I would greatly appreciate it if you could contribute some way or another. All right, so let's go ahead and continue getting all these screws back in. Also, my channel has like a whole bunch of like random content, so if you don't really care for computer repairs, hopefully you'll enjoy some of my other videos. All right, let's go ahead and get all of these back in. Okay, oh, I think they're doing some work on my house right now. Alright, and then we'll get the last screw in. Alright, we'll get that. Okay, now we'll carefully open this up. Alright, you can see it's on. I'm going to shut this down properly now. Alright. Alright, it's shutting down. Okay, so we're gonna again pull the screen forward. You want to be careful. Okay, slowly let this drop. Okay, we're going to carefully open this back up. And now we're going to put the stretch release adhesive things back on. Okay, so we have these. Okay, and you want to actually get the non-sticky part back down in that little groove. Okay, so I'm going to get that in there. Stick that down. Okay, and we're going to slowly just get this whole adhesive strip to go all the way back up and stick that down. Okay, there we go. Then we'll get the other stretch release adhesive strip. Same thing, go to the other side. Line that up. Okay, stick the bottom edge down and then work your way to just let it go all the way back up. Just like that. All right, the tricky part is now getting the screen back down without it sticking right away. So we're gonna carefully let this drop into place. Let me see if I can line this up. And we have to get the top edge into this corner first. Okay, so you got to keep your fingers underneath and then kind of get it to line up. Slowly, carefully, okay, drop that edge in there. Perfect, and then drop this edge in there. And now that we got everything lined up, make sure it's good, and then you can go ahead and press it all down. All right, now that we've got that, we can go ahead and peel this up. Again, make sure it turns on, obviously. Probably should have done that before pressing all of this down, but there we go. Come on. Let's see the little Acer logo, come on. Hopefully this didn't get yanked out while moving it around. I don't know why this one boots so slow, but yeah. I think it should be good, it's just slow. All right, make sure none of the edges of the adhesive are sticking out here, like this piece of the adhesive is kind of coming up, so we're gonna try and just make sure to stick that back down. All right, and it's on, so we should be good. Let's flip this back over. Okay, the adhesive is already holding it in place. I'm gonna shut it down again. Less risk of damaging it since the liquid crystals won't get pressure on it. All right, we're gonna drop this back in down here like this. Okay, and it's still on. Okay, there we go. All right, now to get this back in, you kind of push on the top outer edge, okay? So you push on the outer edge and you can hear it click in. So you just go around the whole frame, just doing that. Pushing on the outer edge to click everything back in. We'll stop at the sides here. We'll continue going around the outer edge here. I'm pushing it somewhat down in towards the center of the screen as I'm pushing this in. Okay, just like this. And we'll continue clicking this all down. All right, so now that we got there, we're gonna push down here as well. This, you might have to kind of push down on it, like down into there to clip that. Same thing with this one here. And then we're gonna go holding on the back here with my hand. Okay, pushing towards the bottom. Same thing, push down there, make sure it's clipped in. It looks like it's good. Okay, and then just work your way all along the middle frame. to make sure the adhesive gets pushed down. Work your way all around. Same thing outer here. Okay, and then we're going to carefully close this up. And then we'll take a look here, make sure this is clipped. You can see this didn't clip in, so you're going to have to click that. And then same thing there and here. Alright, so now we got everything clipped in. It looks good. And that's pretty much it. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. Again, if it did, like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Again, if you can't help out that way, it would help a lot if you watch a few of my other videos. Like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others. And yeah, I probably said that a billion times now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Let's drop this. Bye.